All right, got my hands cleaned up. I got my seal here in. So this seal, you know, the shaft for the outdrive goes through this seal. And anytime you have a seal like this, there's going to be something rotating inside that. So when you put your seals in, you want to make sure you put them in the correct way. And you also want to make sure that you grease the rubber, because when I put the new shaft in, when you crank it up, it's going to be spinning on that rubber. You want to have your shaft lubed and that seal lubed. So the seal is going to go in this way. Typically when you see this side of the seal, that's to keep everything from here in. So this seal goes in that way. The seal installer is made to fit this seal specifically, so you just slide it on here like this, and that pokes through that rubber part of that seal. And this goes on the end of that shaft, and then the shaft that I use for the seal, for the ring for the other seal, just goes just like this, like that. Then we're going to sit it in there, and then we're going to hit it with the hammer until we feel it bottom out. Basically, that's all we're doing. Thud, and that's bouncing back out. Once you feel that thud and then this shaft starts bouncing back out at you, it means you're bottomed out. Now, the seal's in there, but we do have a problem. Not with the seal, but with this. This is our bearing. And our bearing has got to be put in there, and it's technically supposed to have this to push it in with. See how that fits on this outer ring? That's what you want. You don't want to push on this inner ring, because you could damage your bearing. So you want to push on this outer ring. This outer ring has this compression seal on it. So when you hammer this in, all these little ridges will get compressed, will hold that bearing in place. So you want to hammer on this outside part, because that's the part that holds the bearing. Now, if we were pressing this bearing on a shaft, then we would want to push on this. We wouldn't want to push on that. So in this case, this part's what's going to be holding the bearing in place. So we need to push on that part of the bearing. The problem is this tool has a pin in it. The pin is supposed to go through this shaft. There's no holes in this shaft. So whoever put this kit together has not done it correctly. They put the wrong disc with this. And I don't know exactly how I'm going to handle this, because when you take this out, this is as big as a shaft. So right here I should be able to, somewhere in here there should be a hole to put this pin through. I don't have a way to drill out this shaft right here right now, so I got to come up with something new. And I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but it's probably going to have something to do with me sliding something over this, putting this in line, and then hammering on this to get that bearing in. It's probably a lot like what it's going to look like. And hopefully that goes well. So I'm going to try to set this bearing up like it needs to be. I've already got it marked for the, I've got a mark here for the hole. This goes to the, this right here goes to the inside, and this indentation here goes on the outside. So we're going to try to set this up to match the grease dirt that's over here, and then hopefully we can just kind of tap it in place just a little bit, just enough to get it started. What's crazy is looks to me like the hole is on the bottom. So I'm gonna get my grease gun and put a little grease in that thing to make sure that they had this right, because I'm thinking that they may not have had it right. So let me get my grease gun real quick. I'm thinking they had this bearing in wrong. That's what I think. More ways than one. Oh, all right. Nope, they didn't. Okay. Stupid flashlight down. Here it is. Alright. I'm gonna see if I can show y'all this real quick. Of course, it's gonna be on an angle. Alright, see where that grease came out? So they did have that bearing in. As far as the grease dirt, they had that lined up right. But that's where we've got to get the hole on the bearing lined up. Which is this hole right here. And this compression sleeve also has to be lined up with that hole so we can get the grease in there. So I got a mark on there. Unfortunately, you can't see the mark when you're hammering this in, so you just gotta line it up and you just gotta be careful. So I'm gonna see what our possibilities are here. Alright, so I've got that bearing in place, so to speak. I need to give it a little bit of a love tap here, just a little bit. Just to make sure it don't pop out of there. I don't want to lose my place. All right, so this is an alignment tool, and what it does, it goes in basically where the prop would go, and it makes sure that that bearing is not tilted either way, so that the shaft lines up properly with it. So that's what we got that in there for. Oh, now I got to find a way to hammer that black disc up against that bearing to knock that in. So I'm gonna pause the video and see if I got a piece of pipe or anything that I can slide over this that I can whack on. Okay, I didn't find what I wanted, which would have been a piece of pipe that would slide over this, that I could just slide in there and hammer. I'm gonna pick one up before I do another one of these. And basically I'll just get a piece of pipe that's maybe 1.5 feet long, and you'll slide over here, and then it'll hit that bearing knocker inside there. Then you just hammer on that. We're going to do that a little more crude today because I don't feel like going to the store. So we're just going to take this. This is a pretty solid shaft. It shouldn't damage it. If it does, I've got others. I'm just going to slide this in there. It'll still, the alignment tool is still going to allow the bearing to go in straight, but what we're going to do is we're going to go around and around, like, you know, top, bottom, side, or just side, whatever, to try to, because every time you hit that bearing, it's going to try to tweak a little bit, but we're going to stay close to the shaft, so it shouldn't be too bad. We should be able to get it in here without too much trouble. It's just not really, it's just not the ideal way to do it, but that's how we're doing it today. Yeah, I felt that move. That's good. Yeah, it's moving. It's not going to be so bad. It's not the way I'd prefer to do it, but it's moving every time. That's good. I can feel it sliding in my hand. There's probably no telling how many of these bearings have been put in just this way. See it bounce out? We're probably bottomed out. We're going to go all the way around to make sure. Yeah, oh yeah. Hear how solid that sounds? How much it's kicking back on me? That's in there. Wonderful. All right. I like it. I know y'all know what a new bearing looks like, but I'll try to show it to you right quick. There it is. And you can kind of see that mark, that magic marker mark down on the bottom right hand corner. Yep, and that's where that grease was coming out. So we're good on that. So we're gonna grease this bearing real quick. Then we're gonna get ready to put this out drive on. All right, let me see here. Grease this bearing real quick. I'm excited. This was a bad part of summer fighting this boat leaking. I didn't really fight it because once I put that extra pump on there, I didn't have to worry about it. Most boats only have one pump on it. I don't recommend that. Pumps fail. Anything can happen. You can get a fishing line caught up in a pump. And to be honest with you, these pumps that go in these things, they're made to be serviced. If you take one of these pumps, even when they're new, if you'll look at it, the screen plates come off, everything comes off, and you can service them, and you should service them. You should really keep an eye on the pump. So I pulled one out one time. It had all kinds of stuff in it. It had grass and pine needles and everything you could think of. It had fishing line in it. I couldn't even believe the stupid thing was running. It had hair. It just stuff that you would never think would be in it. All right. Okay, we're gonna wrap this video up. I'll start a new video when we do the outdrive. I don't have a lot of prep work to do on that. I got to clean this up a little bit. There's a seal right here I got to change, and then I got a seal to put on there. And then once I do that, I got my outdrive. I don't know if you can see it, but it's over here on a roll around, so I can roll it right up, stick it in. The one thing that you do got to make sure that you do when you pull and install these outdrives is you got to make sure you got your throttle all the way forward, because that aligns this shifting fork so that the outdrive can slide off. Anyway, I'm excited to be this far along on this. I'm glad I came out here early today, and I hope to hear this thing run today, because I do miss the way it sounds. I miss hitting that key. I got a problem with the starter. I got in there once to try to get it out. It's not going to be doable by myself. There's a lot of room in this engine compartment. I mean, I can get on either side of the motor, well, especially the other side. I can lay down in there. I can put a bed in there. There's plenty of room. But on the other side is where all my batteries are, and all my heavy electronics, all my wiring harnesses, and all that stuff is on the helm side. Is that right? The stern, whatever, on the driver's side of the boat. So all that would have to come out to lay down in there. I'm not opposed to that, but you could just take the batteries out and maybe throw something down that's a little bit, some kind of a mat or something to lay across those battery trays. Otherwise, it's going to beat you up. And the other problem is this boat has a V8 in it. It came out with a 6-cylinder, so the V8 takes up most of the room. It was an inline 6 before. The V8 takes up most of the width of the main support rails at the back of the boat. So those risers that come up are right at starter level. So you can't just reach in there and undo the starter. I've tried with like electric ratchets and things like that, and it's just not going to be easy to get to. I'm going to look at it again today to see what it's going to take. I may not change that starter. It failed to start a few times last summer, and what I was going to do was take it off and have it cleaned, and I can't believe the starter's bad. This boat just doesn't have that many hours on it. I feel like it probably got wet and got some corrosion in there, and maybe that's got something to do with it. Maybe the brushes in there got some corrosion or something. But anyway, I'm gonna do another video today, sticking this outdrive on here, and then hopefully I'll do a video of us starting this boat up. I don't have a lot to do to start it. I got to the batteries are charged and everything. I gotta reconnect all the water hoses to the engine because it's still winterized. But we're done with the freezing cold temperatures. And I gotta put a little air in the tire. My next big thing to do, not for me, is just pull the boat up to the tire shop and have my new tires put on. I'm not going to do it. It's too much work for me to do by myself, and that'll be the next big project. And then other than that, we got to clean the boat. I've got to cut some acrylic for it. I really need to get on that. Y'all, in the comments, y'all need to tear my butt up, because I'm way behind. I should have been doing the acrylics all winter. I've got all the measurements and everything. I've got a router table. I got everything I need to do the acrylics, and I have not done it. And I'm ashamed of myself. But I'm gonna have to spend the weekend just doing acrylics. I think I can get it all done in probably a day. But I need to revisit my measurements, and I need to get some acrylics ordered for this thing. The only thing I haven't decided is the part that goes down into the cabin. I was thinking about making that out of a cutting board. I may have to change it, every so often, but it would give me a space to prep food if I wanted it. But if I can find the right acrylic, I'll probably do it in acrylic. That's just a thought, because I got a little table I put up there for my Blackstone, and it's got enough room to put a cutting board on it. So I would rather do it in acrylic, but push comes to shove, I can do it in wood for a season. It's not that big a deal. But the port up there, I need to get it done in acrylic. The port window, and it leaked last year. I had silicone, all kinds of stuff on it, and when it rained, it dripped. So that was a problem. I put silicone on it, and I put, you know, everything you could think of on it, and nothing ever really seemed to work very well. It's just so just a new window is going to be the best option for that. And the old one's still intact, so I've got something to make a pattern on. I just got to take it off and draw it out, and then router it out, and sand it off, heat it up, do all that, get it tinted, and or I'll buy it tinted, and then slap that thing on there. I need to get that done. I'm going to, when I get home tonight, I'm going to revisit that, and I'm going to see if I can at least order the acrylic for the port, and I need to order the acrylic for the cabin, and then, because I can't do it if I ain't got it. And I also seen where guys are bending that acrylic, so you can't buy those. You can buy the port window, but they're like $800. It's ridiculous. You got to change the whole thing. But as far as the hatch is concerned, going into the cabin, can't buy that. You have to make it, which was disheartening because it's a straight sheet that has been custom molded to go over the doors. I'm probably not going to do that. If I do, I'm going to extend it out because that's what keeps breaking the hatch. But I did see a video where a guy was doing that, and what he was doing was taking the hatch part of that where he needed to bend it, and he was turning the oven all the way up, and he was cracking the oven door and setting that in there where it needed to be in, and just letting it heat up. And once it heated up enough, he could go over and just apply a little bit of pressure to it, and it actually was bending it evenly. I mean, ingenious, you know. The dude was thinking outside the box. So if I do end up reshaping it just like it is, that's probably how I'll do it. And maybe it'll turn out. And I haven't done much research on drilling the holes, but I know my router cuts the holes really well. I mean, routers really well without cracking the acrylic. So I almost wonder if you might not be better off using like a plunge router for doing the holes, something like that. Maybe, I don't know. If anybody knows, let me know. I have drilled some acrylics before, and years ago they would tell you to clamp wood on either side of the hole that you wanted to drill, or even drill through the wood with the wood clamped on there. But these are going to be some big pieces, and they're not going to be cheap pieces. They're going to be thick pieces. So, and they'll probably be okay if you got them on a drill press or something like that, where you can just really take your time. Probably be just fine. I don't have a drill press, but my neighbor does, and she don't mind me bothering it. I mean, she don't mind me using it. She doesn't even really use it anymore. So that's probably what I would do, and her husband would be willing to help me, because if the one sheet's going to be pretty big, he would help me hold that and get that in there. So I feel like I could drill with that drill press, no problem. Anyway, I'm going to quit rambling, because I can sit here and talk to myself all day, which is what I'm doing. I'm talking to you guys, but technically you're not here, so I'm going to pause this video. I'm going to get my stuff ready to put this out drive on. We got that seal. We got a seal that goes in here, then we got a seal that goes over that, and we can stick this thing on. And I got to hook the linkage up inside, and the air tight. I'm going to pull the boat outside and let it see the sunshine for a little bit. All right, guys. Looks like we're ready to put these gaskets on. Make sure you can still see that. Yeah, it's not gonna be a big deal. I'm gonna put. I got an O-ring to put in here. I got a gasket to put on there. I went ahead and just kind of cleaned that up a little bit and dried it. This seal. I'm not sure about these seals. So sometimes when you see a seal like this that has that rubbery texture line around it, sometimes that's a silicone base, and then when you tighten it down, it'll break that. But this just may be rubber on it. I really don't know. I don't remember ever having to scrape any silicone off, so I'm kind of curious as to. I know in the automotive industry, a lot of times when you have seals like that, when you tighten them down, that bust, and that silicone in there. And that silicone. So we got an O-ring to put on here, and I got one O-ring to put on the outdrive, And I'm gonna grease that shifting linkage just a little bit, and I'm gonna grease that O-ring so it'll stay on there until we put the outdrive on. So I'm gonna do that real quick. It don't take much grease, just enough to make it stick, you know. I'm not trying to get too crazy here. Grease right there. Just gonna put a little bit on there because it'll act kind of like a glue for me, basically. Not glue, of course, but then that'll go right there. It should stay right there until we get the outdrive on. I'm gonna put a little grease on this shifting linkage right here real quick. Grease getting on the seal. There's that. I gotta put this O-ring on the part of the outdrive that goes right there. Now we can stick this on, and then once I get that outdrive in there, I will. I'll go ahead and finish it up, and then I'll just shoot the video cranking the boat. I'm gonna pause the video because I'm gonna lower the nose of the boat. Oh no, I'm not. It's already as low as it goes. It's fine. All right. I hope y'all are excited, because I know I am. I am excited to crank this boat up. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. I'm going to wipe that off a little bit real quick. I'm gonna pause the video because I got a phone call coming in.